to the next question, which is somehow related to this one. So I will now go into further detail here, but yes, the only Buddhas can see Buddha nature. If you are studying along with me, then go to page 199 of the same book. Yes, all of the last questions are regarding this book, which is a marvelous book. I do encourage you to read it because it has many passages from the sutras, as Yosho Sensei mentions. So let's go to page 199. Okay. So if you go there, you will see that the Buddhas are distinct or are different from all of the other enlightened disciples. Remember that there are 4 noble realms above samsara. There are the realms of the Arahats, the realms of the Prajeka Buddhas, the realm of the Bodhisattvas in aspiration, in the 10 bhumis, and then are the realm of the Buddhas. Okay. And one constant denominator in all of the Mahayana sutras are Buddhas constantly telling Arahats that they need to learn more, that the Prajeka Buddhas, they need to awaken bodhicitta, the wish to become a Buddha. Yes. And Bodhisattvas, Buddhas are always telling them, you still have much to learn, because you need to arrive at the point at which you see a Buddha nature, and you see the Tathagata Garbha, you see the essence of the Dharmakaya. Because what the thing is that Arahats, Prajeka Buddhas, and many of the high-level Bodhisattvas, they are already free from samsara. Yes, but the fact that you are free from samsara, yes, doesn't mean that you are a Buddha. Okay, you can compare this to maybe cleaning a jewel from all of the dust. That you have cleaned it doesn't mean that you maybe you see it, or maybe you know how to use it. You know what I mean? In the case of the Arahats and Prajeka Buddhas, they have a very big overcome the 3 poisons. The fact that you are free from the poisons and free from samsara doesn't mean that you have compassion and wisdom to help all sentient beings and to create a pure land and to go inside of samsara and outside and have all of these amazing qualities that are to be found in Buddha nature. Okay, so as you see here in this chapter, if you go to page, you will see here a quote from the Sutra of the Jewel Ornament of Liberation. You see, one who is afraid upon seeing the suffering of samsara and yearns to achieve nirvana, but has little interest in benefiting sentient beings, there are the 3 marks of the Hirer family, of the Sravaka. Okay, so Prajeka Buddhas and Arahats are not training in the Buddha Dharma to help others, but they only want to liberate themselves from samsara. This is their interest. Okay, so in this case, they are doing something that is wise, of course. They do want to liberate themselves, but they don't want to achieve a full Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi with Buddhahood. Yes, and Buddhahood has perfect compassion and perfect wisdom as its inherent qualities. Okay, so it's very important for us to understand this. That is the difference between an Arahat, Prajeka Buddha, and a Buddha. A Buddha is Buddha nature, but a Prajeka Buddha and an Arahat haven't still seen Buddha nature. Yes? The only thing that they have done is to remove the poisons. Yes? But that doesn't mean that they...
Please also explain what is a Pratyeka Buddha.
Yes, Prajeka Buddha. Okay, a Prajeka Buddha, not to be mistaken with a Buddha. In this sense, Buddha here is used only as awakened. They have awakened from samsara, but they are still Prajeka. Prajeka means solitary. Solitary realizer. That is what Prajeka Buddha means. Yes. So a Prajeka Buddha, it's a liberated being who has liberated himself or herself from samsara without anybody teaching him anything. Yes, he has through his own virtuosity or his own skill at meditation, yes, and wisdom, he has realized the 4 noble truths, yes, but nobody has taught him anything. Yes, and actually in the sutras we see many instances where there are many solitary guys that are over the mountain. Yes, and nobody hears of them. Nobody knows they exist, but they liberate themselves from samsara. Yes. So some people have such good karma. Yes, that they just intuitively, maybe even at a time where there is no Buddha present, they just go there and they realize the truth. They observe how the universe works. They understand the law of karma, and they can understand the Four Noble Truths, and they can be liberated from samsara. Okay,
they are also said to keep their master's identity secret. So this is also what they say in about Pratyeka Buddha.
Yes, they're secretive. They don't like people to bother them because they have a lot of meditation to do. They just go to, normally Pratyeka Buddhas are described in the sutras like almost all of the time in caves, or maybe in a city, or maybe people who keep a very low profile. Why? Is because a Pratyeka Buddha doesn't like to have, they practice for themselves. Yeah? They are only interested in getting outside of samsara. Okay, but the thing is that in Mahayana Buddhism, they are always encouraging Pratyeka Buddhas and Arahats to awaken bodhicitta, or the body mind. Yes, is the heart of compassion spoken about by Shantideva, for example, in the famous Bodhisattva way of life, or the Bodhisattva Charyavatara, where they're always telling the Pratyeka Buddhas and Arahats, hey, the objective of the Buddha Dharma is to become like Shakyamuni Buddha himself. Okay, and actually it's very interesting, because many people who believe in the Theravada, I always tell people that, hey, I mean, we wouldn't have the Dharma, yes, if Shakyamuni Buddha hadn't gone through all of the Bodhisattva stages. Okay, so the fact that you are practicing whatever form of Buddhism is through the compassion of a Buddha, you see? So if you want to really help others, yes, you need to become a Buddha yourself. And of course, when you become a Buddha, you have all of the tools at your disposition, all of the great qualities of enlightenment, a perfect wisdom and compassion to help others. Okay, so I think that an analogy that is very useful, was very useful for me at least, is like, imagine samsara like a big fire, no? Like the Lotus Sutra explains. Yeah, those people who exit the fire, you know, and they are alone, they don't care about others, they only save themselves, are those people who exit the house on fire. But the firefighters, the actual professionals who are actually have the hoses and they have the water and all of the professional equipment to get people out, all of the babies and the mothers, and they want to, you know, to extinguish the fire, are the Buddhas. Yes. Okay. So there is a very big difference between a guy just running away from a fire because he's afraid. Yes. Of course, we cannot say that he's a fool. He was intelligent enough to escape the fire. But there is a big difference between the guy who escapes and the guy who actually has trained and has all of the professional equipment and all of the knowledge and skills to help people to get outside of the fire. That is the difference between a Buddha and an Arahat. Okay, it's an analogy, but you get the drill. The thing is that there is a big difference between an Arahat, Pratyeka Buddha, and a Buddha, because a Buddha has seen Buddha nature. In the case of an Arahat and a Pratyeka Buddha, the only thing that they have done is to remove the 3 poisons, yes, and to be quite tranquil in this liberation. But this liberation is incomplete, yes. It will only be complete until they see Buddha nature, okay? And they haven't seen all of the beauty and all of the light of the Buddha nature, as you see here in the Sutra of the Queen Shrimala. And this is one of my favorite passages that speak of Buddha nature. So I will quote it. It says here, the Buddha nature is empty from, separate from, independent from, and different from all the stores of defilement, that is impurities. The Buddha nature is not empty from, is not separate from, not independent from, and not different from the inconceivable Buddha attributes, which are more numerous than the sands of the river Ganges. Okay? So all of these Arahats and Pratyeka Buddhas, they have liberated themselves from samsara, but they haven't yet been able to find the true compassion and wisdom of a Buddha. Yes, so there is a big difference between them and a Buddha. So constantly in the Mahayana Sutras, we see Buddhas encouraging Hinayana practitioners, which are people who practice only to liberate themselves from samsara, and they don't have any concern for others. In the case of us who aspire to go to the Pure Land, if we have this faith in Amida Buddha, that Amida Buddha gives to us, then when we go to the Pure Land, we will be able to see Buddha nature And we of course, we will benefit all sentient beings in the 10 directions as enlightened beings. Okay, so compassion and wisdom are the true essence of Amida Buddha's Pure Land and the true essence of the Mahayana and all of the Buddhas and Pure Lands. The reason they exist is for the benefit of others. And why? It's because they are a manifestation of Buddha nature. And Buddha nature is luminous, compassionate, and wise. Yes, different from Arahats and Pranjaka Buddhas, which have only been able to purify the 3 defilements, but they still haven't seen the compassion and wisdom of the Tathagata Garbha or the Dharmakaya. Okay.
Yes, so we aspire to become Buddhas, and we will become fully enlightened Buddhas in the Pure Land, not Shravakas and not the Arahants of the Hinayana. That's very good. Yes.
Yes.
That's wonderful.